Okay, so the first car of the actual test series. Why I'm not where I'm supposed to be? That's the question. Where's my race? Here it is. Here. Car which everyone seems to forget about that it even exists is the Acura RSX. Car which is not really interesting when you consider it in the racing games, but when you think about it in real life, it is actually a bit of a story behind that car. Not created by Brooklyn, custom events, my events here. This car is actually more interesting when you see it in real life than it is in the racing games, because in the racing games you can only see that that is actually quite slow front-wheel drive 200 brake horsepower Acura RSX. Nothing special about it. It's more special when you know the history behind that car in real life. It's got pretty interesting Honda engine, which is I believe 2 liter or 2.2 liter, 200 something brake horsepower. Engine is naturally aspirated. It revs quite high, as you can see here. It races to 8,000 RPM. So in real life, 200 brake horsepower and the engine which revs to 8,000 RPM, that is quite a car. And for me, it's kind of things from the past, when you used to have games like Need for Speed Underground, Underground 2. This car was in, but the first time I've seen it, it was in the Need for Speed Underground, when this car was actually very, very good for that game. Now I've got a chance of driving in a more realistic way, which you've probably just seen. But in my opinion, this guy from the white van just crashed into my back and I couldn't control it for a few seconds. And what I can tell you straight away now is that the handling of this car is not as easy as you expect, because I have to fight with the steering wheel. You can probably tell. There is not too much grip on the back wheels for some reason, don't know why, because the car is actually quite slow. This is a C-Class, it's got only 200 brake horsepower, so it shouldn't be this bad, but it's actually very lively. I have to counter steer a lot on those corners when I'm trying to drive full throttle. Don't know why is that happening, but this time I won't be trying to correct that in any settings. Car hasn't been tuned, so the air pressure hasn't been adjusted. It is stock, like it comes when you buy it, which not many people seems to buy this car. It is not an interesting car. It's not a car which you want to drive because it's a Ferrari. It's something which will be nice to drive in the racing game. But when you are playing on the wheel, that's a different story slightly, because you have. I've got a few surprises already trying to drive this car as quick as I can on the wheel, because it is sliding. It is sliding for some reason, and in my view, it is quite fun because of the fact that I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why there is night. I thought I've set the race time for the day, not for the night, but we'll see. It is slow. It is slow, but for the C580, I believe, something like that, it's not as slow if you compare it to some of the cars in this class. When you get used to the handling, it's actually not that bad, but I have to brake very, very hard, and I have to correct it in a second. So what I'm thinking about handling model of this car, it is fun because it's not boring. When you are driving things like an Audi or like a Golf in this game, the handling is just you can just go full throttle all the way. Nothing's happening, not much happening. In this one, you have to fight it occasionally, but it usually bites you, so it surprises you that something's happened. It's not quick, but it behaves like the tires were bad. Like the tires have no traction. It might be caused that for some reason I'm driving overnight, which I was not intending to do, and probably at the night it is a bit colder. I'm going to try to keep that race always to play it in summer. That's why I created the blueprint. It seems to be messed up, so probably I'm going to make another one. There is not much to tell about this car handling model, other than it is different than you would expect, because the car handles slightly more aggressive, maybe. It's not quick on the straight lines. It lacks power. 200 brake horsepower for that game, it's not a lot. It's actually quite a small amount. But it accelerates, for its class, it accelerates quite nicely, quite smoothly. And this handling model, those all the terms, it just shouts, give me some better wheels, probably. But I won't be trying to do that, not in this car. I've got the sun shining on the screen, and because I'm driving overnight, I can mostly see my reflection on the road. So the handling model of the Acura RSX in Forza Horizon 4. For what it is, a slow C-Class car, it's actually quite fun. It is actually quite enjoyable. But why is it raining? The blueprint seems to be so, well, messed up big time, this blueprint, because it's raining, which it shouldn't be doing. If, for example, you try to invite all your friends and have a rule saying that you want a standard C-Class car, for example 580, 590, 600, something like that, I'm going to tell you at the end what time the Acura seems to make on the race. But handling wise, it is surprising. You probably will have better handling C-Class cars. That's what I can tell you straight away. I don't know why. You probably can modify it just slightly. What I would do is add a wing on the back, and the wing on the back should stop the back of this vehicle from sliding. And that's what you need if you want to race in the Acura RSX around the factory setup. One thing you need is the wing on the back. That's what I'm thinking. Might be tires, but not necessarily. I would say more about wing on the back. Race is ending. We got 7 minutes 15 seconds. It's gonna be 7:20. Because that is the first video that I'm actually making as a series. 7:20, 7:25 it is. That's the first video. As the time goes, you will see different times of the different cars, and you will be able to compare it against the other cars. That's how the series will look for the beginning. Probably there will be some changes, but for now, that was the Acura RSX for you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and one thing that I forgot to mention, I told you that I will be showing you perks scheme, and that's how perks looks. Is it recording? Yeah, that's how perks looks in Acura RSX. Nothing interesting, no surprises. It's best to pick that. It only costs you 1 skill point and it gives you 1000 influence, so it's not bad. Here it's not worth, so to do all of that. Or maybe if you love this car for some reason, you can use it. But I don't recommend that. There is a wheel spin, but the wheel spin will cost you 3, 6, 6 plus 5, 11 points. So it's not worth getting a wheel spin for 11 points from the Acura RSX. There are no hidden cars, there is no hidden money. So it's not worth looking here for anything else than just the 1000 influence. That's it. Once again,